Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, January 20th, 2017. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The insurance company of the West Indies has expanded its services to Nevis. Felicia Liebert tells us more in this report.
The insurance company of the West Indies, ICWI, launched its services to the people of Nevis at a brief ceremony held on Thursday, 19th January. At the Botanical Gardens, president of the company, Paul Layla, gave a brief history of the company.
ICWI has seen many bad days, I can promise you, many hurricanes, shakes, things of that nature. And we have been here. We continue to be very, very strong, both in terms of capital, but also in terms of the reinsurance that we buy. We're here for the long haul. As a family-owned business, we're not driven by what dividends shareholders want to take out. It's one man, he owns it all. He takes a small salary and he's happy. So other than that, we're allowed to build our reserves and we make the company stronger every year.
Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Vance Emery, was also present at the launch. He expressed his gratitude to the President and Board of Directors for exhibiting confidence in Nevis.
I want to welcome Mr. Layla for showing confidence in Nevis. Your first visit, and you're here to, as it were, establish a well-established business throughout the region. And that speaks volumes for the government and the people of Nevis, that you have confidence in Nevis as one of your nearest, and I hope it's going to be successful for you.
Premier Emery also gave words of advice to young people.
I want people to begin to focus on their future, and having good quality insurance is one of those investments which I think our young people can make, which will be good for them in the long haul. And so I want to welcome this new enterprise to Nevis. I want to congratulate you, John and Mr. Layla as well, and Damien, who I spoke to just before, because until I spoke to him, I was not aware that ICWI had been in St. Kitts for almost 9 years. And this is good for us that you're now branching off here, establishing this company, a reputable company, as you're saying, a company which is solid, which is sound, and I can only encourage people to patronize your new products.
Chairing the ceremony was Dijon Jack, Marketing Officer for the Nevis branch of the Insurance Company of the West Indies. ICWI has been in business for more than 45 years, providing motor, marine, accident, property and other insurance types to 8 Caribbean countries. I'm Felicia Liebert reporting for the Nevis Newscast.
Thanks, Felicia. Carry Secure, a project which aims to strengthen evidence-based decision-making for citizen security in the Caribbean, is being made possible through the support of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID Youth Empowerment Services YES project. St. Kitts and Nevis, Guyana, and St. Lucia are the 3 priority countries chosen to bear the brunt of the resources under the YES project, based on indicators including crime and population unemployment.
The YES project, as it is called, has its goal to reduce the involvement of youth in crime and violence in our region. And we all know, and we are probably all a little concerned about, in some situations, about spikes in crime and also growing involvement of our young people in crime and violence. And so this YES initiative was put in place last year with the expectation that we will be bringing up to $64 million to the table to support the process of reducing youth involvement in crime and violence.
The first component of the YES project relates to the Carry Secure project, which was launched in Nevis on Thursday, January 19th.
So the Carry Secure project's goal is to improve youth crime and violence policy making and programs through the building up of strong and sound evidence base. The second component, the Community Family Youth Resilience Program, again, will be working within communities. We're dividing our youth population into 3 categories. Primary essentially relates to all the young people. Secondary relates to those who are at risk to becoming a part or playing a part or becoming engaged in crime and violence. And tertiary relates to those who are already caught up, who have committed an offense and who are caught up, for example, in our justice systems or may have been placed in a detention facility, for example. And there are scientific means to define where youth fit within this particular framework here. Again, this is where our Community, Family and Youth Resilience Program will provide support on the ground going forward.
The final component of USAID's YES project relates to the Juvenile Justice Reform Initiative.
We're going to be strengthening the whole issue about rehabilitating our youngsters. Because if you don't rehabilitate them once they're, for example, caught up inside of a juvenile justice system, we all know what will happen when they get on the outside. You will perhaps have youngsters who would have been trained to do worse things than they were doing before. And so it is important that we ensure that they are soundly rehabilitated. Again, in the past, and what we have seen is once you have a get out, and perhaps you have individuals who have been or were rehabilitated, once you get back out into our communities, our homes, in our broader society, there have been cases, and perhaps it could be the majority, I'm not sure, in which there's a backlash against them. And oftentimes they're not welcomed back into their respective jurisdictions. And so the issue of reintegration back into society is a critical component of phase 2 of the Juvenile Justice Initiative.
Mansfield Blackwood, government-to-government advisor with the USAID Mission for the Eastern and Southern Caribbean. The St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department will host a week of activities from Sunday 22nd to Saturday 28th January as it joins the observance of International Customs Day. According to Assistant Comptroller Roger Fifield, the activities, which will commence on Sunday with corporate worship at the St. John's Anglican Church at 8:30 a.m., followed by lunch at the Golden Rock Inn, will be held under the theme Data Analysis for Effective Border Management.
On Monday, 23rd January, we will have talks in schools where various officers from the department would be going to a number of schools on island to help to educate the students and, of course, the teachers about customs and giving them some more insight about customs. And, of course, we would relish feedback. Tuesday, 24th, we are going to go once again to the Flamboyant Home in Charlestown, and we would be serving lunch there. I think the lunch starts 11:45, and we'll be there maybe for an hour, 2 hours. We will be interacting and serving lunch to our seniors, the residents there.
On Wednesday, January 25th, the Customs Department will facilitate an Officer Exchange Day.
This year we'll be having 15 of our officers. They will be journeying to St. Kitts to work on St. Kitts for that day. And 15 officers from St. Kitts will be coming across to work on Nevis for that particular day. So for that day, you'll be seeing some strange faces in our various stations, Long Point, the airport, our courier, boarding, and of course, the passenger post in Charlestown.
Thursday, January 26th will be International Customs Day, which recognizes the role of customs officials and agencies in maintaining border security. 2 activities are planned for Thursday.
We will be having 2 activities on that day. At 10 a.m. at our headquarters at Long Point, we'll be honoring a few of our past custom officers. And at 8:30 p.m., there will be a panel discussion on ZIZ TV.
Customs Week will culminate with an open day from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, January 27th at the War Memorial in Charlestown, and a fun day from 10 a.m. on Saturday, January 28th at Cockleshell Beach on St. Kitts. Still to come,
and the winner of the draw.
We'll give you the details after this break.
At a loss as to what's going on in Nevis? Tune into NNC on NTV. Don't worry if you don't have cable either. NNC will bring the news to you wherever you are. Facebook and Facebook Live. YouTube and YouTube Live. NevisTVOnline.com. Roku app, NTV mobile app, Smart TV, Apple TV, and any other IPTV platforms. when me ANC and you ANC, NNC.
Welcome back. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris attended the celebratory service for Cillian Powell, the Federation's eldest citizen, who turned 105 on Thursday, January 19th. At the flamboyant nursing home, Prime Minister Harris called on the public to honor and respect senior citizens. He stated that credit should be given to the senior citizens for the country's development.
Many times when we speak about our country and its development, we speak about young people, and important as they are, as the largest subsector of our population, and at times we forget the contribution of those who went before. And so today we honor the service of all our senior citizens. We honor their contribution, their knowledge of our history, their contribution to the stability of our country.
He also noted that senior citizens have a wealth of knowledge that we should garner.
Imagine in the life of one person is the history of what it was for the First World War, the history and knowledge of what it was for the Second World War, the history and knowledge of what it meant in 1952 when for the first time ordinary people had a chance to vote. In the history of one life is knowledge about the Christina disaster. It's a knowledge about all the federal administrations and all the administrations on the island of Nevis. That is a lot of history to be residing one place. And so few of us will ever have that unique opportunity, that place in history that we ought to seriously consider a project that captures the testimony, the testament, the knowledge and the recollection of all our senior citizens.
Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. Urology Associates today announced the winner of a raffle it held on Saturday when it hosted its 10th annual prostate cancer screening clinic. Following this morning's draw, Kanda Freeman announced the winner of the prize.
On Saturday, the 14th of January, during the prostate screening, prior to the prostate screening, we were raffling a 40-inch smart TV. And we just conducted the draw. And the winner of the draw is the Indian Castle Fisher Folks Association. So someone will be going home with this TV this afternoon on behalf of the Urology Associates.
Urology Associates has been offering free prostate cancer screenings to men on Nevis for the past 10 years. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing. I'm Dallas Wilkinson Keynes. Good night.